The universe is filled with something that carries a lot of information and allows us to see objects. Even though it's everywhere, we still don't understand it properly. So, have you ever wondered what light is? Hi, this is Between Wilds, and in this new video we're going to talk about light and some of its properties. We can itemize them and briefly explain each one. First, light doesn't just come out of nowhere. It has to come from a specific place, and we call these places sources of light. Usually you don't have many sources of light. For example, during the day, the only source of light that we usually have is the sun. And all the objects that you see are nothing but the reflection of that light. So when you look at a car, you're not really looking at the light produced by the car, you're just looking at the light that's reflected in the car's surface and that comes from the sun. Second, the origin of light are some physical processes in which matter loses energy through radiation. Mainly, the change in energy levels of the electrons can cause the release of energy in the form of light. But this is a very complex topic, so we won't go into detail. Third, the highest speed that anything can travel through space-time is c, and light happens to travel at this speed because it's massless. The value of this speed is 300,000 kilometers per second. But this is only in the vacuum. This means that if you're in outer space or in a vacuum chamber, the speed of light is 300,000 kilometers per second, around that speed. But if you're in a different medium, the speed of light is different. And you may argue, well, I always hear that the speed of light is a constant. Yes, it is. The issue with different medium is that there's atoms and molecules that light has to interact with. This interaction causes a delay, because light is busy going through this medium. This phenomenon is known as refraction, and depending on the density and some properties of the medium, you have different index of refraction, and therefore you have different speeds of light in different medium. 4. You have probably heard that when you look at the stars, you're looking at the past. And this is true, but it's even better because it's not only for stars or objects in the sky. It happens to every object because what you see is the light that has been reflected and has traveled to you. So there's always a delay. Obviously, objects that are very close to you are too close for this effect to matter, but still, all you look at is the past. 5. What is light? The modern conception of light is that it is a type of energy in the form of electromagnetic radiation that travels at a certain speed, which is the speed of light. When we say that it's electromagnetic radiation, we mean that there is an electric field and a magnetic field which are perpendicular to each other, and they both travel at the speed of light. This form of energy can sometimes be described with mathematics associated to particles and sometimes to mathematics associated to waves. The elementary particle that we associate to light is the photon, which doesn't have a real size. 6. Some mental experiments conducted by Albert Einstein, and beginning from the fact that the speed of light is a constant, led him to create a special theory of relativity. And actually, the fact that sometimes light behaves as a wave and sometimes as a particle brought the creation of quantum mechanics. 7. A common misconception is that when you think about light, you only think about the light that you can see. And this is only a small portion of the whole electromagnetic spectrum. Actually, you only see a very small fringe of the whole spectrum, which is called the visible light. Our eyes happen to evolve to see that specific range. This electromagnetic spectrum consists of a huge range of frequencies and wavelengths. They span from gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet, visible light, infrared, radio, and some of them can be even thousands of kilometers between peaks. All of them travel at the speed of light, only they have different frequencies. We have created different types of telescopes to detect different types of light so that we can extract a lot of information from the objects that we see. 8. Light can actually push things because it's a form of energy. This energy can be used for mechanical purposes, such as some spacecrafts, which use the light from the sun to get pushed. 9. The motion of the object that you're looking at defines how the spectrum is going to look like. So if the object is going away from you, you will see the spectrum red-shifted. But if the object is moving towards you, it will be blue-shifted. This is very important because this allows us to measure velocities from objects in the sky. And, for example, it showed us that the universe is expanding. If you actually combine the fact that the universe expands at an accelerated rate and the fact that light travels always at the speed of light, you realize that actually the visible universe becomes smaller. This means that the universe is becoming darker because each second you will see less light coming from faraway objects. So let's summarize these items. We need sources of light. Light comes from matter losing energy. Velocity of light is constant. We are always looking at the past. Light sometimes behaves as a particle and sometimes as a wave. Light brought general relativity and quantum mechanics. There's a whole electromagnetic spectrum, not only visible light. There's something called radiation pressure in which light pushes objects, and the spectrum is shifted relative to the motion of the object. As a conclusion, trying to understand the nature of light has allowed us to create some of the most beautiful and fundamental theories in modern physics, such as general relativity and quantum mechanics. Light allows us to understand the universe, and it's our connection to it. And it's important to know that astronomy is the science that tries to extract the most information out of every photon, so that we can really understand what's going on out there. Thanks. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Between Wilds. We'll have videos every 2 weeks.